You cannot make this up. Damian Lillard is no longer a Buck. So I was not expecting this. My next post was actually going to be about Deontay Wilder and what's next for him, but damn, this blockbuster news dropped and now here I am. So the Bucks have decided to waive Lillard, and essentially they've stretched the amount that they owe him and will now pay him up until I think 2029, 2030 is. It's like the biggest wave and stretched pay, I don't know what the term is, that the NBA has ever seen. But he is now gone, and yeah. Just looking back at the couple of seasons he's been there, clearly it's not been what everyone hoped it to be. I mean, on paper, when he first joined, it looked amazing. And everyone knew what they were giving up in Drew Holiday. And fast forward a couple of years, stylistically, it just didn't really click the way we all thought it was going to be. The Bucks got bounced out early, and now he got injured this past season, and it has all culminated in this news. So the Bucks have now gone and acquired free agent Miles Turner. Now, if I am the Pacers, now I understand Tyrese Halliburton is injured and the luxury tax. However, if I am the Pacers, if I'm a fan of the Pacers, I am in shock, angry, frustrated because you've just gotten to your finals and to the NBA finals. Now I have no idea if they will ever make the finals again, but with Halliburton, knowing that he's not going to be available this next season, despite the taxation issues and all of the jargon that comes along with it, you cannot let this happen. You cannot let him go to the Bucks. The last couple of years, the Bucks and Pacers have had this like nasty rivalry and has been healthy for the league. But you have to keep your main core intact until Tyrese Halliburton is able to return, because you get so close, and with the state of the Eastern Conference, there's no telling what could have happened if you decided to re-sign him. Now, there's one more angle to look at, and that is the Antetokounmpo angle, because what does he think? Well, certain reports have suggested that he wasn't particularly pleased with what they've done, but clearly understands it. And what does this tell me about the Bucks? Well, the Bucks are making a desperate move because they clearly are trying to form a team around Antetokounmpo that will somewhat contend for the next 2 seasons. And if I was Antetokounmpo, I would have just asked for a trade now, because your valuation is crazy high. Looking at what Durant went for, I mean, God knows what teams would have to trade, but it would be to some degree a win-win scenario. Now, I don't know how much pull Antetokounmpo would have in deciding where he'd want to go, but damn it, the team he'd go to would be having to give the whole bloody house, and the Bucks would be in a better position to restructure and begin to retool their future. Now, evidently, they're not going to, or at least at the moment, not going to retool and think of the future. They're pretty much making this move for now and trying to maximize whatever time they have left with Antetokounmpo. And I can see why he's probably not asked for a trade as well, because when you think about his experience, he came into this team virtually no one, like you just your average player, and he grew into the MVP and one of the greatest players one of the greatest players the league has ever seen, one of the greatest playoff final runs, coming off a hyperextension of his knee, I think it was, one of the greatest closeout performances we've ever seen. The period of time it was happening all in, and everything the Bucks have done for him, so all that wrapped up together, and I can see why he'd still want to stay and have a sense of loyalty, because it's so much emotion in this journey. But he has spoken so much about wanting to win again, so yeah, I mean, next season I don't expect them to make any noise, and if they do end up in a similar position next year, then I think there'll be even more calls and shouts for a potential Giannis trade.